What's going on, people? TK coming at you. Master Wealth Builders LLC is the company. I am in the financial services industry in terms of life, health, and annuities. And I'm not sure if these videos are even helping anyone, but just in case you're scrolling and you're curious about the infinity banking concept, if you've never really understood it, if you heard people talk about it, I wanted to do a video that just broke down this concept. So infinity banking, as it applies to insurance, just means that you take out an insurance policy. A lot of people do it through whole life, but the problem with infinity banking and whole life is it's only 4%. So it takes 5 to 7 years to build to a decent level. What you want to do is open a index universal life policy. It's called an IUL, and use the IUL in order to implement the infinity banking concept. So it simply means taking a loan out against your policy, paying the loan back, and then taking a loan out again. And part 2 of the strategy involves you constantly adding money to your policy. Once you get issued a policy, you have a MEC limit, a modified endowment contract. It's the limit set by the IRS that says as long as you don't contribute over this amount, you won't incur tax liability. So you get a tax advantage when you put money into an insurance policy, and infinity banking just means you constantly add money to the policy, don't go over the IRS limit, and by adding money to your policy, you get to take advantage of indexing and compounding. So indexing just means that you're not playing in the stock market. You're just using the market as a reference in terms of what you're going to be credited. So historic performance, 6 to 8%. And everyone's comfortable with going to the bank and constantly adding money to your bank account. Well, if you did the same thing with your insurance policy and you treated it like your bank account, then you would have more money the next time you compound it. So it works like a snowball. At the top of the hill, it's very small. At the bottom of the hill, it's very powerful. So you can cut that time limit of multiplication down by just being consistent in terms of what you add to your policy. If you did $1,000 a month, you'd be surprised on how fast your money multiplies. So the concept here is just multiplying your money at a higher rate of return than what you can get, let's say, in a bank account. So you become your own family bank because all you're doing is going into the app associated with your policy. You press a button that says take loan, and it shows you in the app how much your available loan rate or available loan balance is. Now, typically your loans are around 4 to 5%. And if you're being credited 6 to 8%, you could be in a situation where you have a loan zero net balance. Very easy. So when you look at it, illustration, you look at how that money multiplies, what the math looks like. That's the whole purpose in illustrations as it applies to insurance. And that's step 1 in signing up for a policy. You have to sign your illustration saying that you acknowledge what this multiplication looks like. And then from signing your application, your illustration, you sign your application, and then the insurance company comes back with an approval. So I'm going to use my son as an example. I always do that. His policy MEC limit is $6,000. And his monthly bill for the policy is $100 a month. So I pay the bill by automatic payment. It comes straight out of my bank account. And what happens is I go into my app and I press a button that says add more money. And that's how I add to my policy. So the multiplication and the compounding happens rapidly when you are consistently adding, right? You just can't go over the IRS limit. But that is what infinity banking consists of. It's just an insurance policy that you add money to, and you get to see compound interest really work in your favor. So it means making your money get a job. It means that you can take a loan against that money, and you can do it repeatedly. You pay back the loan, take another loan. So that's where the infinity concept. So constantly being able to borrow money against your policy is what this concept really is. It's very easy to get started. It doesn't take as much as you think. Just adding a few $100s here and there helps multiplication in that mathematics. But again, the illustration is what shows you the possibilities. And simply put, the more money you add in, the better it multiplies. So, the super rich have been doing this for a very long time. This used to be a secret. Now it's kind of common knowledge for those people who choose to study and read in this lane. And, at this point, we're just trying to help people get started. So if you want to open up your own private family bank, it really means just starting a IUL and constantly adding money to that insurance policy because of the compounding, the indexing, and the tax advantage. So get with any licensed professional or click the link in my bio that says schedule a consultation. I'll show you an illustration, and then from there you can, hit the ground running. You can also begin your Infinity Bank by initiating a large sum of cash, meaning you roll over one account into the IUL. If you have money sitting in an IRA, 401k, money market, CD, you can load that money into your IUL from the very first day you start it, and then continuously add money to it every single month or whenever you have a lump sum. And like I say, that multiplication, that compounding, it really works in your favor. So this is just making your money get a job. It's doing something fiscally responsible. It's actually, thinking long term. And, if you do it while your children are young, by the time they turn my age, they'll be well off, because compounding is one of those fifth wonders of the world or ninth wonders of the world. Mathematically, it just works in your favor more than just having a savings account at ABC Bank. So you have to, make the decision to become a family bank, privately owned, and it's done through an insurance policy. So hopefully you now get a general understanding of what infinity banking is, how to set it up. The only thing you're missing at this point is what the illustration looks like if you commit to a certain amount of money or if you start with a certain amount of money. A lot of people that talk about this concept will tell you they started with X amount, but the more you start with and the more you add in it helps you, but it's not required. You know what I mean? You can open a insurance policy for IUL and start with anything. You can start with $100 a month. You can start with whatever you can afford. It's just the more you put into it, the better it helps you, the better it multiplies, the better compound interest works in your favor. So these are all beneficial things that will put your family in a different category as opposed to the people who ignore this. And hopefully you're not one of those people. And let's just get started. Let's get the ball rolling.